Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to York Run Stadium for tonight's game between the 5-1 Albert Gallatin Colonials and the 4-3 Spring Mills Cardinals out of Martinsburg, West Virginia. I'm Rob Flockovich alongside Tommy Victor. Tommy, seems to be a fairly evenly matched game. Spring Mills coming off a difficult loss, whereas Albert Gallatin is coming off of a pretty tough win from last week, securing their first winning season in school history. What do we think to see in this game out here tonight?
Well, I mean, we have the Cardinals sitting at 4-3, so even though it was a big loss, I think we were talking before 77-0 or something.
77-0, according to Max Preps, Spring Mills played Martinsburg High School, which is relatively in the same area, kind of a cross-town thing, and they did lose 77-0.
So, I mean, that obviously hurts, but that's motivation. I mean, and we're not looking at a bad team. I mean, you don't get to 4-3 by having a bad squad.
No, 4-3 is absolutely a decent record to have later in the season. We were in the same spot with Albert Gallatin as the Colonials prepare to kick off to Spring Mills. It's a non-losing season, and you can never downplay that. Now, how playoffs and whatnot work in West Virginia, I'm not positive, but definitely not looking at a losing season. So they have fought their way so far to get to where they're at. It's just, will they be able to secure a winning season tonight against Albert Gallatin with just 2 games left, counting this one, as the opening kickoff is muffed by the Cardinals just a little bit, but making a really nice return out of it. He continues to go all the way down the sideline on to the Colonial 35-yard line.
Even the ball, number 26.
That is one heck of a return for number 26 of the Cardinals, Jacob Barrick.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest kickoff return we've seen the Colonials give up all season.
So at least at home for sure. Yep. And that was muffed at the beginning. It was a heck of a job by Barrick to be able to pick that ball up and start moving with it the way that he did.
So now we're going to see if the defense could do its job.
Absolutely. I see what the Cardinals have to do here with first play of the game. It's going to be what I think was a QB draw up the middle of the field, maybe a little bit towards the right side on first down. We'll get you the quarterback name in just a moment here.
Carrying the ball, number 7, Chase Henson. Tackle man, number 13, Colby Verano.
Chase Henson is going to be your quarterback for the
brings up second down and
Spring Mills Cardinals, as they're looking at a 2nd and 4 already, running the second play on the game on the Albert Gallatin 29-yard line.
Yeah, Robbie, we're going to see a junior under center, which last week we saw a freshman quarterback take a majority of the reps after probably like the first quarter. So the Colonial defense is going to be against a little bit of experience under center.
Absolutely. As we have our first flag of the game, 2nd and 4 from the Albert Gallatin 29. We'll see what this is about. It's going to be against the Colonials, more than likely an offsides kind of penalty.
To the Cardinals. Ball is at the 24-yard line of Albert Gallatin.
So Albert Gallatin's going to give up 5 yards, give the Cardinals their first down of the game, really helping them out so far.
Yeah, I mean, this is a short field to work with.
Absolutely. It's going to be a handoff to the right side. Found a better hole right up the middle for Spring Mills.
Carrying the ball, number 26.
That's going to be Keenan Smoot.
Bruno Fabrici.
For the Spring Mills Cardinals.
60, Dylan Thomas.
Another quick 6-yard gain. 2nd and 4 from the Albert Gallatin 18-yard line.
The 18-yard line of Albert Gallatin.
And this is something we normally don't see from Colonials. This defense, it's giving up big yardage early.
If anything, it's typically Albert Gallatin at this point in the game that is driving down the field with some good field position already, as the quarterback fakes the handoff and knocks a couple more yards off of the total. That's Chase Henson.
Chase Henson, tackle me by number 69, Nico Mickens of the Colonials.
And it looks like the focus around this offense, which typically is the case, is going to be around the quarterback tonight.
I can definitely see that, Tommy. He has been involved on every play so far, not counting the penalty that gave him a couple extra yards. But he is the one in charge. He is definitely taken over. I mean, 11th grade, so we have a junior for the Spring Mills Cardinals. Definitely probably worked his way up if he's an upperclassman at this point. As it's going to be another direct snap to Henson, and he's going to take off himself once again.
Yep, and they're going to move the chain. So that's a first down, and
quarterback
it's
keeper
going to be
number
first
7,
and goal
Chase
now
Henson.
for the Cardinals.
Absolutely.
Tackle member 21, James Marvin of the
Spring
Cardinals.
Mills moving the ball very efficiently. 9:26 and counting left in the first quarter. So just a little shy of 3 minutes have gone by, and Spring Mills, not that they started their drive from too far away from the end zone, but we're looking at a first and 10 from the 12-yard line of Albert Gallatin. So the yard to gain is the 2-yard line, which will be pretty hard to grab without scoring.
But this is a point in the game where we've seen the Colonial defense kind of step up and really make their force known. So we'll see if they can do it here.
Well, let's see what happens as we have a run to the right side. It's going to be Hanson once again. Going to be a nice little gain for Spring Mills.
Carrying the ball, number 7, Chase Henson.
I'll tell you what, Tommy, Spring Mills, like you said, it definitely looks like they might be fired up over that little bit of a loss they took last week.
Yeah, and I mean, their offense is efficient. It's like you said earlier, we normally see the Colonials do this on opening drive.
Oh, absolutely, and we usually don't see them with their backs against the wall, but what we have seen when their backs are against the wall is a lot of stops on the 1-yard line. So Spring Mills is currently at the Colonials 7-yard line with a 2nd and 5. Henson with the ball once again. He's going to be brought down off to the right side. That right side run by Henson, Tommy, you should almost be expecting it at this point, because I'm pretty sure aside from one run from the Cardinals, it has been Henson running to the right side every play.
And I think that's just props to the offensive line. I mean, they're making a hole that me and you could both run through together.
Oh, and we are two pretty sizable guys. So,
and that's the type of situation where you need your middle linebacker to step up, way in the hole, and
absolutely. And there goes Henson once again, which was probably a middle linebacker that brought him down, as that was a first and goal from the 2-yard line. But you always have to have a scout, Tommy. By that we mean if it's zone coverage, if it's man coverage, whatever, you always have to set somebody aside for the running back and the quarterback. And at this point, the blocking for the Cardinals is just off the charts, like you already said, because for Henson to be moving the way he is, they're definitely, just taking the Colonial scout right out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to need to change something up. And I think it's good that they're seeing on this first drive, and we have our first timeout, it looks like.
It's going to be a timeout for the Cardinals.
Yeah,
so talk things over from the we'll be coming back to a 2nd down from the 3-yard line.
And, that helps the Colonials out because this defense, we've seen a couple good stops, but they really haven't cracked the code yet. So, maybe you talk, hey, listen, linebackers, sit back, watch it, hit it. Don't go immediately for it, because this offensive line is potent, and it is strong, and it's able to create holes where it needs it to be.
The Cardinals' offensive line is definitely having their way with the Colonials' defense.
Which we haven't seen.
Which we have not seen, no. They're having their way in general, but like you said, it's never a bad thing to get the tempo of the game to kind of slow down. A positive in the Colonials' back pocket, I would say, however, is, I'm not counting exact, but I would say the Cardinals started the drive at maybe the 35-yard line. I believe, they're down to the 3, don't get me wrong, but they've run 7 or 8 plays already, I'd say, which is a lot with a short field. You could see teams run 7 or 8 play drives, get the whole way down the field.
Well, and the thing is, we've seen some decent runs, too. It's not like they're, just chopping it up.
And it looks like that timeout was going to be effective for the Cardinals, at least for a couple of yards. Once again, it was our man Chase Henson carrying the ball to the left side. Dylan Shea on the stop, but Shea is going to slow the Cardinals down. 3rd down with 1 yard to go. And, Tommy, this is where we've seen Albert Gallatin step up in recent weeks. So let's see what they can do here with one play to more than likely stand up. We're not sure. I did see a kicker kind of warming up. The Cardinals brought a net as Henson keeps the ball, and I'd say he's probably in on that one. Henson is in for Spring Mills Cardinals. That's going to be Henson's first touchdown.
Spring Mills Cardinals,
and that's crucial because you don't want to stick around with this Colonial defense. They're known to have turnovers. We saw a few last game. We saw a couple interceptions, and you don't want them lurking around.
No, absolutely not. This Colonials defense is the best that we've seen in I would say recent years, but it'd probably be even more than that. And to just get an opening drive score, let alone the excellent touchdown or the excellent kick return rather that Spring Mills already came away with his big moves.
And it looks like they have a kicker.
It does look like they have a kicker. That was a nice extra point by Spring Mills. So with that extra point, our score is going to be 7-0 Cardinals with 7:05 left in the first quarter. And here's something that Albert Gallatin hasn't really had to do that I can think of. I don't think at all this season is play from behind. They've only suffered one loss. It was on the road in Allegheny, Maryland. So myself and you were not around for that one.
No, so we haven't seen. We're going to see how they react. And I mean, I'm curious to see because it's hard. It's hard when you're used to dominating at home. And
absolutely, they have had incredible home field advantage this season. But Spring Mills definitely has the fire lit, I think, after that loss from last week, and we'll see how far they can take it. 7-0 lead with 7:05 left in the first quarter. Spring Mills getting ready to kick off to the Colonials. Dylan Shea's going to be back to receive for Albert Gallatin.
And looks like we have a little unorthodox kickoff here.
Oh, and Spring Mills comes out with the onside kick. And that was a smart move. I'm not sure which Colonial that was, but it actually bounced right into the hands of Albert Gallatin. It looked like it bounced right into the hands of Verano. And I'm not quite sure who it was, but he turned him and dropped him. I believe Verano was tackled by his own team, but it's never a bad thing whenever you might be caught off guard from an onside kick. But just like Hampshire last week, a little trickery to get the game started. So let's see what Albert Gallatin can do if they can answer that. 7 points on the board from Spring Mills, their first drive. Robinson under center.
With the iconic squat.
It's going to be a handoff to the left, and Malik Kirby, I believe, was on the carry.
Yeah, I think he's going to get about 3 on that, which, as we've talked, he's a downhill runner, and it's going to be hard to stop him.
Yes, it's always hard to stop him. I mean, he's a downhill runner. Like you said, he's not much in the endurance category, but he is very much in the power category. So expect to only see a couple yards at a time, but expect to see 3 guys on his back while he's doing it. See Albert Gallatin's second play, 2nd and 8 from the 47-yard line of Albert Gallatin. It's going to be a nice run for Kirby.
That should result in a first down.
It's going to be very close. We'll see what the judges have to say. We actually, I think you told me, Tommy, before we started, we have a lot of referees this evening, so hopefully a lot of good calls.
You would hope.
We shall see what happens as Albert Gallatin earns their first down of the game, 1st and 10, and they are on the Spring Mills side of the field from the 45-yard line.
It looks like the teams match up evenly on size.
It definitely does. I take a quick browse through the depth chart. And usually teams that come through this area of southwest Pennsylvania, a little bit further south of your Pine Richland and your Central Catholic and all there, it's usually pretty even size-wise. So Albert Gallatin's going to have a short gain on first down, going to bring up a 2nd and 8 from the Cardinal 43-yard line. Cardinals defense thrown off a little bit, calling an audible to cope with the Albert Gallatin offense.
Looks like we're having audible by the Colonials.
It looks like we're having a little bit of confusion on both sides, but we'll see what Robinson's able to turn out of it here. 2nd and 8, clock winding, 5:20 left in the first. Ball snapped. It's going to be a quick handoff up the middle. Who is Kirby? He's going to be earning his rushing yards this evening.
As he typically does.
Number 14, Malik Kirby.
Going to set the Colonials up for a 3rd and short after that run. Kirby picks up about 6 on the play. Going to bring up a 3rd and right around 2 for the Colonials from the Cardinal 37-yard line.
And you wonder if this is a moment where the Colonials run that signature run to the outside.
A little bit of toss outside. Yeah, this is definitely a big play already for Albert Gallatin. There's a heck of a lot of ball game left to play, but to already be facing a deficit at home and only have a 3rd and 2, you definitely don't want the Cardinals to build even more momentum and hold you on 3rd down. And that's what it looks like we're going to get, Tommy. Toss to the right side, and I believe it was Lang, and he's definitely going to get the yardage.
Yeah, I mean, that's a play they go to when they need something.
It has not stopped yet. I honestly can't tell you, Tommy, between Lang and Fabricki running that toss to the left or right side, running that toss to the outside. I have yet to see, tosses get dangerous because it's a risk for a fumble or, a scout hanging around your running back or anything. It's always at least a couple yards on the play as Albert Gallatin's going to have a 1st and 10 from the Spring Mills 33. Looks like that was a quick one. I thought we were going to see the same play, but it's going to instead be a handoff to Kirby, who
takes everybody,
I believe has every Cardinal on his
14,
back.
Kirby. Tackle made by number 1, Jalen Burton.
And that's his game. I mean, it doesn't faze him.
Absolutely. And then PA announcer called Burton on the stop for the Spring Mill Cardinals, but I think it was all 11 on the field in that case.
Bring up 2nd down and 1 for the Colonials from the 24-yard line of the Cardinals.
So Albert Gallatin's going to come up with a 2nd and manageable 1 yard. Nice little drive to match Spring Mills' nice drive in the beginning of the game, but can Albert Gallatin put some points on the board here to tie the Cardinals?
And the Cardinal defense, it's not playing bad.
No, absolutely not. Neither offense or defense is playing bad as Robinson's going to hand off to Kirby for a minimal gain, one of the few that you will see.
And now we're going to see, looks like they gave him the 1st down.
Malik Kirby, tackle made by number 21, David Sander.
That's all that counts, right, Robbie?
He's the man to go to when all you need's a couple. And that's all they needed, which resulted in a 1st down for Albert Gallatin. 1st and 10 now from the Spring Mills 23-yard line. Colonials driving here. Tommy, one possession for each team may take up the whole 1st quarter here. We're playing some patient football to get things started this evening.
And I think we're in for a treat tonight. I think it's going to be a good, evenly matched game.
I definitely am getting that gist as Kirby is stopped at the line.
Carrying the ball, hit number 4, Tristan Robinson. Tripped up by number 26, Jacob Barrick.
Great evening for football too, Tommy. A little chilly. I think it's going to drop a little more, but great night for football at Albert Gallatin, as it usually is.
And we've had a dry season so far, it seems like.
We have, yes, we have. I didn't even realize that we've actually been outside every game. Albert Gallatin going to get back into the swing of things. 2nd and 9 from the Spring Mills 21-yard line. Going to be a quick handoff to Kirby. Looked like there was a little bit of we'll basically put it this way. It looks like the Spring Mill Cardinal defense definitely won the battle over Albert Gallatin's offensive line because there were bodies on the ground before Kirby could even pick a hole.
And sets up another big 3rd down for the Colonials.
Another big 3rd down indeed. You definitely, it's to the point where you didn't want to give Spring Mills any extra momentum, but after having the drive that the Colonials have had, bringing it all the way down to the Cardinal 20-yard line, definitely don't want to give it away for your own sake at this point, as Albert Gallatin's going to have a 3rd and 8. Oh, it looked like a little fake toss. Yep. Robinson's going to air it out, and he has a wide-open man in the end zone. Wow. That's going to be a touchdown for Albert Gallatin.
That's great. What a play call.
Wide-open man in the end zone. That was a heck of a play call. Definitely looked like a fake toss.
And Robinson sold it. Wow.
Robinson sold the heck out of that. He would have. I'll tell you what, he faked out everybody in this stadium.
I think he's doing an Oscar on that one.
I think he could get an Oscar, Emmy. He can get anything he wants after that one, as Appleton is the wide-open receiver in the end zone for Albert Gallatin. He faked out everybody in the stadium because, like we've said, he was going for that toss play. But that's, teams start watching film and they think, well, they're just going to go to that toss play every time. And then that opens up opportunities like that. As Albert Gallatin's extra point is up and good.
That almost didn't get off.
That was very close. After the wide-open catch in the end zone for the Colonials, they have now tied the ball game with 1:03. We almost got the whole way through the first through the first quarter with only one possession apair. But 1:03 left in the first quarter. We have a tie ball game at 7 points apiece. Spring Mill's going to be coming back and having another return. We'll see what they can do on special teams this time, as I think momentum has now shifted back to the Colonial side of the field.
And I just can't get over how well Robinson hit that ball.
That was I'll tell you what, Tommy, I was looking at him. I saw him go for that little fake move, and I thought, well, where'd the ball go?
Yeah, I mean, he just tucked it in tight.
No sooner did he whip the ball, I saw a wide open man. All he had to do was wait for the ball. I bet there was nobody within 10 yards of Appleton standing in the end zone.
That's a good job by Appleton, because sometimes the wide open ones are the hard ones.
Absolutely. As Albert Gallatin now goes for an onside kick, and I believe the Colonials have recovered the ball. Let's see what the officials have to say, but I did see the ball loose. And I did see someone in black dive on it.
And it looked like it hit a Cardinal. So
yes, yeah, that's never definitive here. I'm thinking the Cardinal offense is headed onto the field here.
That's what it looks like.
Yes. So somebody from
get the ball from the 49-yard
okay, so Cardinals do have the ball. Somebody from Spring Mills did not give up on that play and ended up recovering the onside kick. We've seen 2 onside kicks here in the first quarter this season.
And I like that play call. I mean, it threw me off, and I mean, it was definitely on the radar. But I mean, it was that close. I mean, it wasn't like a botched attempt or whatsoever. So I like the play call.
It was an excellent onside kick, just as Spring Mills was a couple plays ago. As Spring Mills is going to have a first down, and Henson is just obliterated in the backfield for the Cardinals.
And maybe we're going to see this defense come to life. Maybe they figured it out.
I'll tell you what, that was definitely very lively on that one. Yes, as the clock winds with about 42 seconds left in the first quarter. Cardinals are now going to have the ball at 2nd and 12 from their own 49-yard line. I think that was the first play stopped in the backfield for either side. Spring Mills, probably by the time they run this play, going to end up being the final one, barring it's an incomplete pass. Oh, Henson is going to drop back. He's going to whip the ball down the field. He has a wide open man, and it is overthrown just a little bit.
And the top was taken off.
I'll tell you what, Tommy, he had about 3 options, and they were all 3 legitimate options for a completed pass. They had left the Colonial defenders a little bit in the dust, but the pass from Henson unable to be completed. So we have the official spotting the ball on the wrong 49, but that's okay.
And that's what happens. I mean, when you're playing high school football, you're almost expecting a run about 70% of the time, depending on
most of the time, yes,
the profile of the team you're playing. But for the most part, we see a majority of run plays, so it's not hard to bite on those.
Oh, I definitely can agree with that, as we have a trick play from the Cardinals running up the left side, almost blown up by the Colonials. And we're going to step out of bounds with 6 seconds left. That was almost blown up in the backfield. It was a double fake.
And the Colonials almost took a handoff.
It was a double fake, and I'll tell you what, the Colonials were not faked out the first time. However, they were faked out the second time.
And the ball will be placed at the 31-yard line.
As Spring Mills is going to have a 1st and 10 from the Colonial 31-yard line after they had the ball on their own 49-yard line. 6 seconds left in the first quarter. Spring Mills hopefully trying to build off of the play they just had. It's actually going to be a handoff from Henson. And we are still running down to about the 15-yard line, as that is going to be the final play of our first quarter. Couple excellent runs.
I was saying we saw good football in the first quarter, and I expected for 3 more.
Absolutely. It is early yet, and it is low scoring as we have a tie, 7 apiece. Albert Gallatin looking to go 6-1. The Spring Mill Cardinals looking to go 5-3. Pretty respectable records either way.
Yeah, I mean, it's just 2 good football teams going at it. So, Robbie, after first quarter, I think we can safely say that the Colonials have met a pretty good test here tonight.
Oh, I would definitely say so. I mean, but in one quarter, this is definitely the most competitive game we've seen from Albert Gallatin. I mean, by this point, it's aside from the game against University,
which was even 13-0 in the first half.
Which was still a sizable difference, though it ended up being a lot closer. This is probably the closest we've seen Albert Gallatin to an opponent all season at home. Like we said, just that one road loss to Allegheny. See if Albert Gallatin can keep their heads in the game as Spring Mills heads back out onto the field. Spring Mills going to be looking at a 1st and 10 from the Colonial 14-yard line. It's going to be a shotgun snap to Henson. We're going to have a nice run to the outside. Going to be stopped by the Albert Gallatin defense, however.
Yeah, that's a good pickup on first down. Get some yardage, give yourself some manageable difference to try to get that first down.
Williams, tackle made by number 60, Dylan Thomas.
Absolutely. Williams is on the left side carry for the Cardinals.
Gain of 3 on the play brings up 2nd down and 7 for the Cardinals.
Decent little 3-yard gain.
Colonial 11-yard line.
So let's see if Albert Gallatin's defense, like we've talked about, can stand up to the test here. 2nd and 7 from the Albert Gallatin 11-yard line. Henson's going to keep the ball himself, going to run to the left side of the field. He at least cuts the deficit to the goal line in half, maybe a little more.
And on the keeper, number 70, Chase Henson. Tackle made by number 70, Braxton Turner.
And the Colonials are going to have to defend. It looks like a
gain of 6 on the play brings up
3rd and 1.
And a yard
Yep.
for the Cardinals.
3rd and 1. So it's going to be an important play here.
Very important play. 3rd and 1 from the Albert Gallatin 5-yard line. And you have to think, Tommy, is Henson going to get tired out at some point here?
Yeah, I mean, he's just
plugging
run away.
Oh, I'd say he's run a good 85% of the
Easily,
offensive plays.
Yeah. Oh, that's
we do have another flag. Spring Mills most definitely trying to draw Albert Gallatin off sides. However, I think that plan backfired because the penalty is actually going to be on the Cardinals. So that made our 3 and 1 a 3rd and 6.
Bring up 3rd
from the Albert Gallatin 10-yard line.
From the Colonial 10-yard line.
And just to keep in mind, the Cardinals do have, as we talked on earlier, they have a kicker. So, I mean, this isn't like a do-or-die play here. I mean, maybe you try to do something. 4th down isn't a death sentence.
No, especially not in the second quarter. Spring Mills is most definitely going to have
the first down. But we're not going to have to worry about it.
We are not going to have to worry about that as Henson has an excellent run to the left side.
There's a flag.
We have a flag on the play, and it actually was not a touchdown, though Henson gave a heck of an effort at the end there. It looks like he's going to be spotted about the 2-yard line. Let's see what the officials have to say about the flag and the spot.
I was going to say, and I don't know if you noticed, Robbie, but the referee on this close corner closest to us, he originally put up that it was a touchdown. So having a bigger officiating crew, you get these little discrepancies that you typically don't see.
I actually did not notice that, Tommy. It's a good job keeping an eye on that. Apparently he did get overruled, and it's looking like that penalty was on Spring Mills because the ball is now backed up. We were at around the 5-yard line, then back to the 10. Now we're back to the 14-yard line, of Albert Gallatin. So Spring Mills definitely not doing anything to help themselves out. As Henson's pass is going to be falling incomplete. I saw the ball hit the ground, so you went from right on the doorstep to a little bit of a step back to completely out of the end zone here on 4th down.
And we have a kicker going out, so let's see how this goes.
Let's see how this goes. I always like to see how the kickers perform. I do. We don't see a whole lot of it in high school football. Like we said, it's a little bit different in this area. But I do like to see a good kicker out here.
Holding the snap, moving number
7-7 tie with 10:17 left in the second quarter. Spring Mills going for the 3-point field goal to push their lead. Kick is up, and that is going to be well short.
And no good.
That is going to be well short. Colonials had a good rush on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know if maybe somebody got a hand on it or not, but nonetheless, Albert Gallatin will be taken over on their own 14-yard line.
And that's a big change of possession. And
that is big after Spring Mills had we're actually moving it to the 20-yard line where Albert Gallatin will take over. That'll be even better. But, that's not a very good sequence for Spring Mills. Whenever they come out swinging, have a 7-0 lead, then they do surrender a touchdown but cannot get to the end zone after giving up 3 plays after arguably they were in the end zone with another Henson run.
It's always something.
It's always something. See what Albert Gallatin can do here. Robinson's going to snap the ball. It's going to be a quick handoff to the left side. Kirby's on his way, and he is moving. He has at least 6 players on his back, and he is still on his feet, moving to the left side of the field. What an absolute
You can't bring him down.
run.
You can't bring him down. And
What a
Tackle made by number
back.
6, Dominic Buskey, and number 1, Jalen Burton.
And the big thing
And
is, I mean,
Colonial first down.
the Cardinals aren't picking up on it. You can't ride his back. You have to hit him low, and we
You
just
have to
haven't
hit
seen
him
a
low,
player
and-
try to chop his legs yet.
I see more players trying to dive on his shoulders
Yep.
than anything, and he is just moving like he's got nobody
Yep.
on him.
You owe me big.
Let's see what Albert Gallatin could do now with a 1st and 10 from their own 38-yard line. After the impressive run by Kirby.
And we haven't seen Fabrici get the ball yet, so I'm just waiting for that play.
That's always a fun one to watch as well. Robinson's going to run that toss to the now right side of Albert Gallatin, and he's going to be met in the backfield quickly.
And that's a rarity. We usually don't
That
see
is a
that play
rarity.
for a loss.
We might have jinxed ourselves on the last one. That was Lang to the right side of the Colonials for what is a rare loss on the play from that outside toss. Albert Gallatin now looking at a 2nd and 12 from their own 36-yard line. Couple downs to work with here, see if they can move the ball up the field.
36-yard line of Albert Gallatin.
I just can't get over the size now that they're closer. I mean, the Cardinals' front defense is just big.
I noticed a lot of guys, it's not so much a height thing for me, but a lot of guys have some weight to them.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for. As it's a quick handoff to Kirby, and once again, rarely met in the backfield. Well, not necessarily the backfield. I think he picked up 2 yards.
That's not typical for us to see him
No.
only get a couple.
No, it is not. As Albert Gallatin's going to be faced with a 3rd and 10 from their own 38-yard line.
Yeah, this is a big 3rd and long here.
Every 3rd down, when it's a tie game especially, has mattered big time as Robinson's going to run a little fake. It's going to be caught on the left side of the field, and we have a Colonial running down to the 50, the 45, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds. What an excellent play once again for Albert Gallatin.
And that's a new play in the book. We usually don't see that screenplay.
They are getting very creative as Verano comes up with a nice catch on the left side of the field. It's a lot of trickery in the backfield. I think, like we said, a lot of teams might have gotten too comfortable with seeing Albert Gallatin hand the ball off, as the Colonials are going to take that 3rd down and pull up a 1st down.
And the only thing I was thinking is don't drop it, don't drop it,
Oh, I
because
know,
it was a low throw. And
It was a low throw, and it was close.
that's
I
never
will tell
fun
you
on a
that.
screen pass.
Absolutely not. But we do have a 1st and 10 for the Albert Gallatin Colonials. They've broken into Cardinal territory on the 43-yard line. Albert Gallatin's going to snap the ball. It looks like Kirby on the left side.
Carrying the ball here, number 14, Malik
And I'm
Kirby.
trying to see the line to number
7,
70.
Chase Henson.
It's maybe 72 maybe for the Colonials. I don't know if you could maybe help me out on that.
And 6 for the Colonials.
I'll try to keep my eye open.
No, it was definitely 70 then. Braxton Turner, he was just plowing Cardinals over. I mean,
I'll
lead
keep an
blocking
eye
was
on
amazing. Yeah, if you can maybe try to spot him a couple plays. I mean,
Yeah, we will
just
take a
blowing
look at
off the
that.
line.
And we'll see what we have with a 2nd and 6 from the Spring Mills 39-yard line. Robinson's going to hand the ball off to, it was a miscommunication by Robinson and Kirby. And it's Spring Mills' ball.
Wow.
Robinson
And the bubble on a snap on a play, recovered
dropped
by
the ball.
Cardinals,
Kirby
number 7, Chase
went
Henson.
to look like block, or at least make it look like he had the ball, and the ball ended up on the ground. So it's going to be a quick turnover, and the Cardinals are going to take over.
And we haven't seen a miscommunication by the Colonials really all year at home. It seems like they're pretty much in
And
sync
Spring
on
Mills will have
every
the first
single
and 10.
They
offensive
definitely
play.
have seemed to be. It's a
40-yard.
rarity to see something like that, as you just said. But a tie ball game nonetheless, and probably the most competitive game you've been involved in all year. This is not the time for that.
No. That one's going to hurt.
Turnovers are a part of football, but let's see how the Albert Gallatin Colonials can bounce back as the Spring Mill Cardinals offense takes over on their own 40-yard line. 1st and 10. Henson drops back. He's going to air one out and has a wide open man once again, and is just a shade overthrown. His receivers, Tommy, are doing
open.
a wonderful job of getting open, but it's just a little bit too hard on the throws from
And
Henson.
that seems like the trend of this season. Every team we've watched, including the Colonials, it's just that receivers get open and the quarterback just can't dial it back, it seems like. I mean, it's just too much.
Just a little bit of a step behind. And I'll tell you what, Tommy, I'm fully convinced that's 2 Cardinal touchdowns.
For sure.
If that pass and the pass from earlier in the game are completed.
Because the Colonials don't drop a deep safety.
No, they do not. They pretty much bring everybody to the front of the field as Henson's going to take the direct snap up the left side of the field. And, boy, he was almost gone. He was 1 or 2 players away from being gone.
Another big run. And like you touched on earlier, he's going to have to take a break soon because –
I mean, he has to be conditioned through the roof because the amount of work that he has had. And I was going to say he might have had 2 unfortunate pass attempts. However, he's definitely making it a lot better for himself with his legs as the Cardinals now have a 1st and 10. They've broken into Albert Gallatin territory on the 39-yard line.
No, we're not talking about easy runs where he's stepping out of bounds, getting 5, 6 yards.
Oh, no, he's taking hits.
Yeah.
He is taking hits. Henson's going to actually hand the ball off to the left side, and we're going to have another nice Cardinal run.
And carrying the ball, hit number 28.
That's going to be number 20, Kenan Smoot, for the Cardinals. Going to grab him another 1st down all the way down to the Albert Gallatin 27-yard line as we have about 6 minutes left until halftime. The clock is winding.
And the Colonials are backpedaling, which is not good after a turnover in a tied ball game.
Not at all, not at all. I mean, the best case scenario is what happened to them on their last defensive sequence. They were able to stop the Cardinals in their tracks on the field goal attempt as Henson takes the direct snap to the right side.
He's still going.
And he is still moving. Like you said, Tommy, he is taking some blows, and he is not stopping anytime soon. I will tell you that.
Back number 6, Dylan Shea. And number 70, Braxton Turner.
That's another 1st down.
We will see if the Colonial defense has an answer. It seems that they don't want to answer until they get down about inside their own 5-yard line.
Which, I mean, that works too. I mean,
it works,
if it doesn't result in points, but you never want to play that game.
Absolutely, it works, but how long will it? I mean, it's been working for a while as the Spring Mills ball carrier still on his feet.
Yeah, and he shook about 2 tackles there easily.
Number 28, Aiden Smoot.
And Smoot again.
Number 70, Braxton Turner.
Those numbers are a little tough to read.
Yeah, they are. That's why I think I gave you bad info earlier on a player because the numbers, I don't know if it's a light or.
I think it's the glare. I think it's the glare from the light, but don't beat yourself up about that. We're just here so we don't get fined. In the words of Marshawn Lynch. Spring Mills going to have a 2nd and 11 from the Albert Gallatin 16-yard line. Clock winding. 4:40 left in the 2nd quarter. Henson's going to take a direct snap.
Another key run. He took a couple hits there.
I'd say he gets hit at least 2 or 3 times, and that's even if he gets brought down in those 2 or 3 hits.
And we know this Colonial defense, they swarm to the ball. They have fundamental tackling to where they are putting a good hit on that could potentially knock the ball loose. So, I mean, he's not just like getting pushed down. I mean, it's impressive that he's still going.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, to think about, he's got a lot of distance put on his feet already this evening. And when you think about people constantly pulling you back, the kind of resistance and how tired his legs are getting, he's definitely going to need a break. As Henson throws a little bit of a toss, take a play out of the Albert Gallatin playbook, but the Colonial defense is all over that stop.
And here's a 4th and long, and it looks like they're going to keep the offense out there.
Probably a smart move just based upon how this game is going. 7-7 still in the 2nd quarter. 3 minutes and 36 seconds left until halftime. We've seen one heck of a physical game here this evening.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're the Cardinals, you sent your kicker out there. You saw what he could do. And, I mean, this is a little farther even. So, I mean, you don't want to put him out there and, give away a possession. Run the ball or pass the ball, whatever, run a play with your offense and see what happens.
I mean, if anything, it's 4th and 13 from the Colonial 18-yard line, which may turn into farther or closer, but either way you look at this, worst-case scenario for the Cardinals, if you don't get the 1st down, you pin Albert Gallatin deep in their own territory.
It's just a good punt. I mean, that's how you have to look at it.
Yeah, it's an excellent punt, especially with 3 minutes and 12 seconds left in the half. It's going to be a lot for Albert Gallatin to move the ball the whole way down the field as the 4th and 13 now becomes a 4th and 18 from the Colonial 23-yard line because penalty is going to go on Spring Mills.
Yep. And the Colonials have to really watch for the pass play because the wide receivers are open. All it's going to take is just the right pass.
It's going to take one nice completion.
you're giving up a touchdown easily.
Oh,
so,
absolutely.
I mean, if I'm the Colonials, I'm going to watch for that. Maybe have my safety sit back in coverage a little bit.
And Spring Mills is definitely not going to want to keep stalling this far into their Albert Gallatin territory. As Albert Gallatin is going to deflect the Henson pass. It was much closer on that one. However,
that was Bruno Fabricki dropped back in
Was that
coverage. And the
Bruno
safety
Fabricki?
did drop back in coverage on
Okay,
that one,
okay.
thankfully, because
well, maybe that's what they needed.
Yep.
Is Fabricki breaks up the Henson pass for the Cardinals, and it's going to be a turnover on down. Albert Gallatin will take over with 2:39 left in the first half.
and that's just enough time to go in with the lead.
We'll see what happens here. Like I said, Tommy, I mean, Albert Gallatin's defense, they're having a rough time with the Cardinal offense when it gets that deep, but that's a couple drives now in a row that the Cardinals just stall out with penalties.
Yeah, I mean, and the whole thing you have to keep in mind if you're the Colonials, games aren't won by whoever has the most yards.
Robinson's going to snap. Left side handoff to Kirby, and Kirby was almost loose. He's still moving with a man on his back. This is just something to
That's
see.
insane.
The
I mean,
rushing of Malik Kirby is something to see.
he dragged a guy 5 yards.
Absolutely, and he drug a whole pile over to that same side a couple plays ago.
And good for Colonial, first down.
I got to look here real quick what grade Malik Kirby is in. Kirby's a senior. You have to wonder if he's going to make it to Saturdays here the way he's running on Friday nights.
And I mean, you would hope that he's at least getting some attention because he's doing it against everybody. It's not just a good night. It's just not.
No, this has been an all-season
Yep.
thing. He is just one heck of a running back. So Albert Gallatin's going to have a 1st and 10 as the clock winds with about 2 minutes left in the first half. It's going to be another handoff, but that is not going to be as successful as the last plays. That stopped up at the line of scrimmage
I
pretty
think that
quickly.
was Varano, maybe. I
Carrying
can't.
him on number 13, Colby.
Yeah, that is going to be
Varano.
Varano.
Tackling him number 21.
So Albert Gallatin, we've seen them have all 3 timeouts many points in the season and continue to let the clock run. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. Right now, we have 3 timeouts for the Colonials, and we're letting the clock run.
I think maybe they're waiting until under a minute to maybe start thinking about
We do
management.
have a decent chunk of time yet, excuse me. 2nd down and 11 from the Colonial 46-yard line. It's going to be another handoff. Running back going to be patient on that one. Not too much speed, but a lot of awareness.
And put your team in a good position where it's 3rd and
Carrying him
manageable
on number
now.
13, Colby Varano. Tackle made by number 72.
Colby Varano's going to be
Proctor.
on that run.
And number
3rd
11,
and now
Kosi Jackson.
6 on the Spring Mill side of the ball from the
That'll bring up
3rd-yard line.
6 for the Colonials.
Just barely on the Spring Mill side of the
Ball is
field.
at the 49
And this is a
yard line
dangerous
of Spring
spot for the
Mill.
Colonials because you're on the edge of 4-down territory, but you're not like quite in the okay, we're going to go for it.
Absolutely. 3rd and 6 is a little much, especially if you're 4th down, or if you end up with 6 yards to go on 4th down. As Robinson's going to drop back, he's going to air one out to the left side, and it's going to be overthrown by the intended receiver, Dylan Shea.
And that was good coverage on
That
the
was
play.
excellent coverage. I would not say that. I think a couple of Henson's passes, I think the receivers, they were broken away.
Yeah.
Dylan Shea, I don't think had quite the separation that Henson's receivers have been having through this game. So it does give Albert Gallatin a 4th down and 6 from the Spring Mills 49-yard line. We do have a punting formation out on the field for the Colonials with 41 seconds left in the first half.
And the Cardinals have 2 return men, so this is going to be an interesting, maybe reverse. We may see this.
We might see the
do that on
reverse.
special
We
teams.
might see, was it the Rams a couple years back gave the fake, one guy laid down and the
Yeah,
other guy,
yep.
yeah. I think one was Tavon Austin out of West Virginia.
That's
As
good
it's gonna
punt
be
coverage.
It's going to be a nice
And
punt
return the punt number
and a
26,
decent
Jacob
return.
Barrett.
Going to take a big chunk of time off the scoreboard, 9 seconds. So Spring Mills will now have the ball on their own side of the field. It'll be a 1st and 10 with 32 seconds left in the first half. We
And
still have that
the Cardinals
tie
have
ball
1st and 10
game on our
from their
hands.
own 27-yard line with 32 seconds left in the half. And we remind you there's no re-entry into the gates tonight. If you do leave, you have to go home.
In 33 seconds, if you're the Cardinals, you have about 71 yards to go, maybe around there.
You don't
Not
have to go home, but you
impossible.
can't
No,
leave.
not at all, especially with 2
70
timeouts. You still have time.
Oh, absolutely. 73 will be the exact number of yards that the Cardinals have in front of them before they could reach their end zone. And we are going to have a timeout. Guessing it's going to be a Cardinal timeout here.
And Cardinals take a timeout with 32 seconds
And I
left
like
in the
that. I
half.
mean,
Yeah, that's
you want
fine.
to draw it up right.
That's
mean,
fine. Yeah, I mean, realistically, with 32 seconds left, you're not all in on one play. You
No.
basically, easiest way to put it, you basically want to have one play to get you a chunk of yards, another play to set. You want to set yourself up again, and then take that shot. Typically, 10 seconds a pop, 32 seconds left.
And you definitely want to draw something where you're working the sidelines.
Absolutely, yeah. You definitely want to avoid that last timeout. You definitely don't want to, if you're the Cardinals, run a play right and end up right in the middle of the field and then have to burn that timeout and then end up on the 5-yard line and let the clock expire. But you typically want to set yourself up probably 2 times and then take a shot at the end zone. Or, we have seen them try to kick a field goal, see maybe another field goal attempt. But first and 10 from the Cardinal 27-yard line. Got a long ways to go in a short amount of time. Let's see what Henson can do for Spring Mills. Going to be a quick handoff to the left side, and that run is going to be halted pretty quickly.
And it looks like they're not going to signal a timeout.
Clock is running. About 20 seconds left. Spring Mills in no hurry.
Silent Williams.
And you may wonder, maybe that timeout was to set up 2 plays back-to-back. We're going to boom, boom, boom.
It could be.
Maybe not. So.
Well, we have a lot of players looking at the sideline, and that's going to wrap up the first half, Tommy.
And I think that's the right idea.
That's okay. Yeah. I mean, if you don't look at the situation like how I just said, like set yourself up a couple times and then try to take a shot as opposed to getting it all at one time, you could definitely let the clock run out. You're absolutely in this ball game.
I mean, you're in a dangerous spot of the field. Yeah, I'll say you're in a dangerous spot of the field where if you try to pass and it's intercepted, it could only be bad for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's the end of our first half. Very physical game, very fun game to watch. The halftime score is Albert Gallatin 7, Spring Mills Cardinals 7. We will be back with the Albert Gallatin Marching Band on AGTV Sports on Fayette TV, channel 77, and at agtvsports.com.
Look around you. 1 in 4 kids in the U.S. faces hunger. It's not always easy to see the signs, but in this land of plenty, there are kids that don't know where they will get their next meal. Join Share Our Strength in Food Network and take the pledge to end childhood hunger here in America by 2015. Learn how at NoKidHungry.org. Their next meal could come from you.
I'm Susan Nimoy. I was married to Leonard Nimoy. He had chronic breathing difficulties for as long as I knew him. He was afraid he'd die of lung cancer. He never thought it would be COPD. You always think you have more time than you do, and you really don't.
You can quit. For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
Drum majors Nathaniel Gibson and Taylor Tubbs. Is your band ready? This year's show, entitled The 2020 Experience, is a selection of some of the biggest hits by artist Justin Timberlake. Our show opens with Suit and Tie, the first single on Timberlake's 3rd album. hear the ever-popular Cry Me a River with a euphonium and flute duet by the drum majors. Our show closes with a Grammy-nominated hit, Mirrors. The band is under the direction of Mr. C.J. Durso, assisted by Mr. Charles Gibson, auxiliary coordinator, Miss Amber Hildock, and percussion instructor, Miss Elizabeth Rockwell. The drum majors for this year are Nathaniel Gibson and Taylor Tubbs.
Look around you. 1 in 4 kids in the U.S. faces hunger. It's not always easy to see the signs, but in this land of plenty, there are kids that don't know where they will get their next meal. Join Share Our Strength in Food Network and take the pledge to end childhood hunger here in America by 2015. Learn how at NoKidHungry.org. Their next meal could come from you.
I'm Susan Nimoy. I was married to Leonard Nimoy. He had chronic breathing difficulties for as long as I knew him. He was afraid he'd die of lung cancer. He never thought it would be COPD. You always think you have more time than you do, and you really don't.
You can quit. For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the second half of action. I'm Rob Vlakovich, joined by Tommy Victor. We're looking at a tie ball game going into the third quarter. 7-7 is the score. Albert Gallatin facing the Spring Mills Cardinals. Tommy, we saw a heck of a competitive first half as the score reflects. I believe we said Albert Gallatin gets the ball to start the second half
correct,
here.
yep.
I surely think Albert Gallatin really needs to get on the board. One of these guys has to do something to get a little bit of separation before we can really get into the end of this ball game. I don't see 7-7 standing with 2 more quarters. These teams seem too kind of fiery, too physical to let that happen.
And I think the big thing to touch on is both teams are making big plays and both teams are making big stops. So something's going to have to give here in the second half. Both teams made their adjustments. And we'll see. Colonials are going to return the ball. They have 3 back. It looks like they're going to have to return this kickoff. And if you remember earlier in the game, the Cardinals actually did an onside kick after a touchdown.
Yes.
So that's going to have to be on the radar. I mean, both teams want this win bad, and they're willing to pull out all the stops and try to get it.
There has been tricks on either side. We will see if that continues. 12 minutes up on the board to get the third quarter underway. Albert Gallatin's return team on the field,
And
followed by Spring Mills kicking team. Just another couple moments here, and we will have the second half underway. First half, Tommy, very quick first half.
Yeah,
Actually, well under an hour for the first half. It was about 50 minutes.
Which you don't see in a close game.
Yeah. And there's another shorter kick, not quite an onside kick by Spring Mills, but that could be what they were looking for as it bounces off a Colonial and becomes a live ball.
I think the Colonials are going to retain possession.
Well, we will see here. Yeah, here comes Robinson onto the field for Albert Gallatin.
Which is always a good indicator.
Absolutely. He doesn't have a whole lot of other activity on the defensive side of the ball. He's more primarily just a quarterback. See what Albert Gallatin can do. 1st and 10 from their own 36-yard line. Robinson's going to hand the ball off to Kirby. He's going to be met at the line very quickly.
Carrying the ball, number 14, Malik Kirby. Tackle made by number 50, Jacob Sedlitsky.
And that hasn't been uncommon tonight. I mean, although Kirby's done what Kirby does,
Gain of a yard on the play,
big power runs.
I
mean, the Cardinals have stopped him at the line multiple times, which is something we have not seen throughout the year at all.
No, definitely not, and it's just a very minimal game, like we said. 2nd and 9 from the Albert Gallatin 37-yard line. See, Robinson's going to put a man in motion. It's going to be a quick handoff to Kirby off to the left side. It's going to be another small gain for Kirby.
Carrying the ball, number 14, Malik Kirby. Tackle made by number 10, Jake Martin. Gain of a yard on the play. Bring up 3rd down and 8.
So Albert Gallatin's going to face a 3rd down right out of the gate on the beginning of the second half here. Definitely know what the Colonials have drawn up. However, their efficiency on 3rd down has been pretty solid as we're looking at a 3rd and 8 from the Albert Gallatin 38-yard line.
And Spring Mills has adjusted quite well, it seems like, to what the Colonials are trying to do on offense.
See Robinson snap back. He's going to roll out for a pass, rolling out to the right side. He's going to hang on to the ball. He's going to run. He's going to have the 1st down. He is brought down close.
That was a smart play.
To midfield. And that was a smart play by Robinson. Didn't see anything down the field, so he's going to go ahead and tuck it and run.
And that's good field awareness because, I mean, you have your eyes downfield. You're looking for the big play. I mean, he saw the opportunity to get the 1st down. He knew what they needed there, and he got it done.
Absolutely.
So
So Albert Gallatin's going to have a little bit of new life. 1st and 10 from their own 48-yard line. I'm sorry, I thought they crossed over into Spring Mills territory, but a little bit shy yet. 1st and 10. Robinson's going to go ahead and fake the handoff, but then go ahead with the option to Verano. Verano's got a nice little chunky yards down the left side of the field.
That was a good play call right there.
Carrying the ball, hit number 13,
that was a good play call,
Verano.
and that was a smart move by Robinson to go ahead and wait till the very last second, ditch that ball to the awaiting Verano, who takes the ball up the left side of the field. 2nd and, well, I take that back. It is not 2nd and 10. It is about 2nd and 2.
And that's a play that we haven't seen really in the first half at all, that option play that they like to go to, and it really opens up the field for them.
See what Albert Gallatin can do with a 2nd and 2 now from the Spring Mills side of the field from the 44-yard line. Robinson's going to hand it off. Oh, I take that back.
Oh.
He is going to fake the handoff, and it's going to be recovered by Lang, who's going to take it up the left side of the field. Albert Gallatin's going to turn something into nothing. Lang continues to go down the field.
Wow.
And he fumbles the ball, and he falls on it.
Still, that was a play. That may be a play of the game.
That was one heck of a play. I apologize about the pause there. I was trying to analyze what was going on.
I don't think we knew what was going on.
It was a fake handoff. What wanted to be a toss by Robinson ended up being a 10-yard kind of pitch to the backfield onto the ground. Lang recovers the ball and is able to pick up a solid before fumbling the ball himself, but then falling on it, is able to pick up a good 20 yards after running about 60 yards altogether.
And all it took for that play to happen was one good initial move. Did you see that original cut to the left side?
Yes.
And it was wide open.
So now, once again, getting a little more fired up. 1st and 10, going to be a toss to the right side, and that play is going nowhere. That's going to be Lang on the carry for the Colonials.
Carried the ball, number 28, Caleb Lang. Tackle made by number 26, Jacob Barrick.
So Albert Gallatin's going to be held at the line of scrimmage. We're looking at a 2nd and 10 from the Spring Mills 30-yard line. They take that back, 2nd and 16.
And it'll be a loss of 6 yards.
A little bit of delay on the numbers.
16 for the Colonials. All placed at the Cardinal 30-yard line.
Clock continues to wind. 7:50 roundabout left in the 3rd quarter.
And the Colonials need to find a play that's going to put them around, at worst, like 3rd and 5, because this defense is not really giving up anything. I mean,
they are not.
Besides the one big play, it would have easily been behind the 50.
Robinson's going to roll out to the left side. He's going to launch a ball down the field. That's going to be Fabrici overthrown.
Pass to complete, intended for number 2, Bruno Fabrici.
That was a hard throw. His momentum was taking him to the left, threw it back to the right side, and Fabrici was covered by not one but 2 Cardinals, so risky play.
Risky play.
For the Colonials. tackle.
He looked like he had the outside shoulder on him, but risky play nonetheless. Gonna see what's going on here.
This is a long drive by the Colonials.
This is a long drive. Now, we are looking at a 3rd and 16 from the Spring Mills 30-yard line. Like we said, Tommy, ideally you wanted to get a couple yards out of that, but you still have another chance before anything gets really solidified. Robinson's going to take the snap, roll out to his left side, going to launch the ball down the field for Brickey's going to be in the end zone, and the ball is incomplete.
I thought there was a chance of a flag there, but I think it was just good defense.
It was good defense and good offense. I'll tell you what, it was good offense but better defense from the Cardinals in that situation.
And let's see if they decide to go for it or punt it away. I mean, I don't know. 4th and 16, that's a long way to go.
4th and 16, you are on the Spring Mills 30-yard line, so you have them pinned a little bit, not as deep as you would ideally like it, but that's a tough punt for anybody to make.
Yeah.
When you only have 30 yards to the goal line.
It looks like they're going to go for it, which I think is the right play call.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's the right play call. Hopefully, to say the least, you get a couple yards out of it, pin them a little bit deeper.
Yeah, field position.
Obviously, you want Albert Gallatin to get the first down. It's going to be a fake handoff to the left side of Fabricki. He has the corner, and he can't move away fast enough.
And that's something we're not used to seeing. Usually it seems like he just gets what he needs, and if not more.
It seems like it. 4th and 16 is tough for anybody, though, as we just saw. So Spring Mills will take over on downs. 1st and 10. From around their 21-yard line, 25-yard line, 27-yard line. I'll keep rattling numbers off until we get it right. We're going to be at the 27-yard line. Spring Mills, first offensive possession of the third quarter. We are going to have a handoff to start the quarter off.
And that was a nice run.
That was a nice run to the left side.
Carrying the ball number 18, Zylan Williams.
Williams is going to go ahead and give the Cardinals a first down.
And a big gain of 11 yards and a first down.
Odd to see Chase Henson not running the ball.
No.
But it does happen.
Ball is placed at the 38-yard line of the Cardinals.
Cardinals going to have a 1st and 10 from their own 38-yard line, moving in the right direction here after the nice run. Henson's going to take the snap, and there he is to his usual ways, swerving through the defense, though the play was called dead.
And there'll be a false start called against the Cardinals.
Cardinals false start on that play, so that's going to move them in the wrong direction.
5-yard penalty.
So instead of a 1st and 10, it will now be a 1st and 15 from the Spring Mills 33-yard line. .7:02 left in the third quarter. Tie ball game. Spring Mills looking to break that tie. Henson gets the ball out of his hands once again for another nice
fumble, though.
Drive for the Cardinals. But, yeah, Tommy, the ball did hit the ground.
I think his elbow was down.
I'm thinking that's what I'm also thinking. I think it was down.
For breaking number 21, James Marvey.
He was down, not the greatest spot for the Cardinals.
No, not really.
11 yards on the play brings up 2nd down and 4 for the Cardinals.
So 2nd and 4 from the Cardinal 44-yard line.
And the Colonials need one of those tackle for losses here, because I feel like if you can get them into a 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, you're definitely in better shape.
Henson's going to take a direct snap, run to the left side. He's still plucking away as he's pulled out of bounds.
And there were some good blocks on that play.
There has been good blocks on every play for the Cardinals.
And good for another Cardinal first down.
And I think that's a big point to touch on, that the Cardinals have really won at the line of scrimmage. I feel like
I would agree with that. I think the Cardinals' offensive line is pretty top-notch in the ball game. This is a heck of a way to come back, too, after a 77-point loss last week. for the Cardinals.
This doesn't look like a team that would lose by 77.
No, it does not. This is a physical, gritty team, especially when the Colonials had a lopsided victory last week as well, but the Colonials were on the winning side. So you would not think that when you take those two things that it would equate to a 7-7 game in the third quarter, but that's where we're at.
I say we're here, we're living it, and I'm enjoying it.
Oh, I absolutely am. I like some physical football. I think that the kind of shootouts, so to speak, are getting a little overrated.
Yep.
But we are going to have a 2nd and 9. Spring Mills onto the Albert Gallatin side of the field, 46-yard line. Henson's going to snap the ball. He's going to run it himself, as he has been all night, to the left side, and he's going to have some shifty footwork and leveling some players.
I'll say
he's going to pick up 10 extra yards, I think, off of that nice blow to the Colonials defense. And Henson is going to be deep into Albert Gallatin territory now.
They sent the house on that one. I don't know if you saw the blitz. They sent about
like
7 guys, and it almost paid off dividends, but just not able to get there in time. And when you send that many guys, and it's really thin on the back end.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you send a blitz at any level, you got to be pretty confident that you are going to stop it in the backfield. Yep. If you let anybody get to the outside, you are in trouble. Henson's going to fake a little handoff to the other side, but the Colonial defense, I believe Braxton Turner in particular, is going to be there to bring it down very quickly on that first down.
Carrying the ball, number 28, Aiden Smoot. Tackle made by number 70, Braxton Turner. Number 6, Dylan Shea.
Now we're going to be looking at a 2nd and 11 after the Cardinals are stopped in their backfield. And Tommy, let's see if they can break this habit that the Cardinals have had. Maybe it was addressed in the locker room of it seems like once they get inside the 30-yard line of Albert Gallatin, they kind of have been sputtering out.
Yeah, it's
been penalties, it's been plays in the backfield like that for the Colonial defense, as Henson's going to run to the left side, and he's going to pick up another first down.
Once he gets that outside, he's just able to find little gaps and get a couple yards here, a couple yards there, find the ability to make what looks like going to be like a 4-yard run into a 15-yard run.
Oh, absolutely. Well, like we said, Tommy, potentially Spring Mills has broken that little habit that they had that probably could have cost them a number of points in the first half. Spring Mills have off of what has been typical the whole game, the running ability of Henson. It now has another first down all the way down to the Colonial 15-yard line.
But I think we should give credit to the Colonial defense that their red zone defense really holds up.
You need to give them credit that Spring Mills only has 7 points on this board.
Because that's kind of amazing with how many yards that they've gained.
Oh, absolutely. And Spring Mills, you think back, that was the first possession of the game for either team. And Spring Mills had the heck of a return all the way down to the 35-yard line. So you have to think the only time the Colonial defense has given up points, it was not in their – the odds were not in their favor at all.
It was also their first look at the offense.
So true. As Henson's going to take a left side handoff, and Spring Mills is in the end zone off of another Henson run. I believe that is the second touchdown of the game. On the ground for the quarterback, Chase Henson.
Your score now, Spring Mills Cardinals 13.
And you can't keep putting Albert Gallatin's the Albert Gallatin offense can't keep putting the defense in the situation where you just got to keep holding. The offense now has to answer. Now that Spring Mills has been able to do the same thing.
You're eventually going to give up points, especially it's hard too because your offense isn't giving you support. I mean, it's not like the offense is giving you more points than just the first touchdown of the game. So it's a tough spot to be in, but I think this defense can answer the call and maybe limit the scoring.
Absolutely, yeah. Spring Mills converts on the extra point. That was a very high extra point, well over the goal post. So that will now take the Spring Mills total to 14. So with 2:41 left in the third quarter, we now have a broken tie. The score is Spring Mills 14, Albert Gallatin 7. See if Albert Gallatin can answer the call as they did after Spring Mills scored for the first time. The return team for Albert Gallatin already on the field has been a trademark this season. For a 4-3 football game, for a 4-3 football team, not a game, for a 4-3 football team that Spring Mills currently is after dropping a game by 77 points last week, I'll tell you what, they are giving the 5-1 Colonials, who beat a team by 49 points last week, a real run for their money here.
I'd be scared to see the team that beat them by 77.
I would absolutely
for the Cardinals.
be afraid
Number
if anybody is
44,
familiar. It was Martinsburg that was able to defeat Spring Mills by 77 points. So we're not too educated about how things are in West Virginia as far as high school football goes, but I would say Martinsburg probably runs the show.
Yeah, they could play.
Another interesting kickoff for Spring Mills. It is going to be recovered in the second line of the Albert Gallatin, and the return man steps out of bounds after a decent little return. If he had another little cut there he could have made, he might have broke that off.
And I'll take that as starting field position.
Oh, of course.
And receiving the ball was number 24, Christian Stone.
Stone's going to be on the return for Albert Gallatin. 2:36 left in the third quarter.
Left in the quarter. Ball will be placed at the 44-yard line of the Colonials.
And let's see if Albert Gallatin can answer the call here. You never want to be playing catch-up at any point in the game.
No, not at all.
Especially whenever you would have to get on the board and then stop Spring Mills once again to get on the board once again to take control of the game.
I was saying, after you mentioned this after the first drive by the Cardinals, but the Colonials really don't play from behind.
No, they do not. We've been saying it since the get-go of the game. We don't really know how that game in Allegheny, Maryland went. That is the one lone Albert Gallatin loss, but we do know that from the games that we've called, you've called every game. I missed one. I've never seen them play from behind.
No.
47-yard line of the Colonials.
We had a little bit of confusion. Too many men on the field for Spring Mills here. I'm not sure if they called the penalty. Maybe Spring Mills had a timeout. They're letting them cycle through. I'd assume the Colonials made some adjustments, which then in turn you would have to allow the defense to make their adjustments accordingly. So I'm thinking it's no harm, no foul as a couple of players from Spring Mills cycle into the game.
Actually, they're going to...
No, they are going to give Albert Gallatin. That was a very late spot. They are going to give the Colonials the advance on the play. So one play into the drive, you're already on the Spring Mills side of the field.
And that helps.
That helps a lot as Albert Gallatin's now going to have a 2nd and 2 from the 48-yard line of the Cardinals.
I'll say a 2nd and 2 definitely helps too, because it gives you a little better of an opportunity to get that first down.
It absolutely does, as we're going to have a quick handoff by the Colonials. It's going to be Malik Kirby once again, who is absolutely going to get an easy first down and then some. We're going to have a 1st and 10 now down to the Spring Mills 41-yard line.
Gain of 7 yards on the play. Ball will be placed at the 41-yard line of Spring Mills.
Well, Tommy, this third quarter has been a true reflection of the game itself. Not even 8:30, and there's a minute 30 left in the third quarter.
I think that's just a testament of a clean game. Not a lot of penalties, not a lot of stoppage.
Not at all. This is probably the cleanest ball game I've seen in a while. Maybe I'd say you could count on one hand how many penalties there have actually been, which is fantastic for both sides.
Yeah. It looks like we may have a shooken out Cardinal. I can't tell. Number 7.
7 was Henson there if he's playing both sides of the ball.
Ball at the 38-yard line of Spring Mills.
See what Albert Gallatin's going to come out and do on 2nd and 7 from the Spring Mills 38-yard line. Going to have a nice handoff to the right side. It's going to be Kirby once again. You can tell it's Kirby because there are 3 Cardinals on his back as he gets brought to the field, brought down to the field.
Tackle made by number 26, Jacob Barrett. And go for another Colonial first down.
The Colonials are driving here, and all likelihood they're going to go into the fourth quarter with the ball. It's going to be smash mouth for us.
It is going to be an interesting fourth quarter, to say the least. This another unique aspect of this ball game. It seems that each team only gets about one possession a quarter. It's insane to see the movement, the slow, monotonous, but so successful movement on either side. As Robinson's going to have some shifty moves to the left side and get the Colonials deep.
That's going to take him down
Deep
to
into
about
the
the
Spring
11.
Mills territory.
And carrying the ball, hit
line.
number 4, Tristan Robinson.
And I was just going to say, Robbie, it's really strange because it doesn't seem like these offenses are, like we've seen in previous games, like it seems like there's a lot of like miscommunication, we've actually seen a lot of delayed game penalties. But
we have, yes.
haven't seen anything like that. It's just
that's the end of your third
it's a
quarter.
good, clean ball game.
Yeah, they're just putting together solid drives that are resulting in positive yards for the most part, and they're able to eat clock.
It's been a good, clean ball game, and like we said, it's going to come down to the wire here, I think, as the third quarter has expired. 12 minutes on the board for the fourth quarter. We get ready for a fantastic finish. We're looking at a 14-7 Spring Mill Cardinal lead over the Albert Gallatin Colonials here at York Run Stadium.
And it feels like this possession is going to be.
This is going to be a make or break.
Yeah, I'm saying if the
Colonials
Colonials don't score here, it's going to be an uphill battle just because of how well the Cardinals have been able to hold on to the ball once they get it.
Like we said, Tommy, it's half does the one, half does the other. If one team runs almost the whole half of the quarter out, it's hard for anybody else to do anything, and that's exactly what Spring Mills has done, and that's exactly so far what I think has gotten them to this 14-7 lead as Albert Gallatin's going to take over the 1st and 10 from the Spring Mills 11-yard line. This is a big sequence for the Colonials here if they want to have a shot to stay in this game and win this game. There's a miscue in the backfield, and Robinson is leveled. That is not a good way to start it on first down. There was a massive miscommunication in the backfield, and Robinson is brought down hard. We do have an injured Cardinal on the field. We'll take our time, let him get
That's going to
attended
be number 7, which I believe.
Is that Henson?
That's Henson.
I believe.
Unless there's another number 7, but I don't.
Let me consult my paperwork here. That's going to be a big blow if that is Henson, and I only have one number 7 listed for Spring Mills, and it is Henson, as they're tending to the legs.
Well, let's hope it's nothing serious, but I don't know if you remember, but I touched on that earlier. It seemed like he was a little gingery getting up probably about
I think I do
6
remember
plays
you
ago.
saying that. I do remember
I mean,
you saying
hopefully it's nothing too serious to where it may be just something if he sits out a couple plays, he'll be able to
we've definitely seen a lot of mobile quarterbacks this year coming through a lot of different competition since Albert Gallatin. This is their first season outside of the Whippeal. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks take a lot of blows, and we definitely seen guys come out of the game, take a breather, get themselves together, and go right back in. So we're definitely hoping that is the scenario for Henson.
And it's kind of shocking it happened while he's on defense because he's had some big hits. I mean, he's been taking some hits.
He is taking a lot of hits.
And so is Robinson. I mean, Robinson took a shot there.
Robinson was the receiver on the blow that has left Henson, ironically, on the field. So Henson is being tended to. Definitely not what you want if you were on the Cardinals sideline.
I can't tell.
It's kind of tough to tell. They were. I mean, I'm no trainer or anything by those means, but they seem to be kind of stretching the legs of Henson.
Hopefully, it's just a cramp that he can work out or something.
Yeah. The temperature has dropped
substantially,
pretty decent amount since even warm-ups when the sun was still up whenever we first got here, and it's definitely tough for the body to adjust whenever you warm up a certain way and the conditions are completely different here in the fourth quarter, not even 15 seconds gone.
Well, it's even tough, too. You go in the locker room, it's warm.
Yes,
that's
another way to look at it, too.
We even said the break. We walked inside and came back out, and it was like, wow, we shouldn't have done that.
We came back outside, and it felt like it got a whole 20 degrees cooler, though it is supposed to be quite cold this evening, and we are feeling it. We're still standing strong outside, though.
Looks like they're stretching him out.
Yeah, it still appears to be the lower legs. It looks like that they are kind of working on both of them. It's tough to tell. They know what they're doing, though, and they will get him the best help that is possible. But it does appear, I mean, they are working on both. It's the shin, kind of high ankle area to me. But
yeah, I mean,
all we can do is speculate.
We're definitely not the most qualified to make assumptions on this department.
Not at all. I could do a lot of other things before I'd be qualified to do what those guys are doing.
I feel you on that. But it's been probably about at least, 5 minutes maybe?
Let's say give or take. It's been a little while. It has definitely been a little while for Henson, the injured Cardinal.
And this could be an injury that affects both sides of the ball, obviously, for the Cardinals losing your quarterback. But also, he's a playmaker on defense, stoppage of play.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of factors going into this extended period of time now, probably running on about 7 minutes.
He has, I mean, at this point, Henson, it is the fourth quarter, and we have seen a little more movement than before, but it has, I mean, he's easily been 80% of the offense
for sure.
The Spring Mills Cardinals. Is some of the people from Albert Gallatin are coming over to Henson, who is now up on his feet.
It looks like he's going to walk off.
He is going to walk off.
Which is a good sign.
Very gingerly.
Number 7, Chase Henson.
But absolutely love to see him up and walking on his own power. He does have a couple trainers around him, but I think it's just for a little extra security. Yep. He is up on his own, and he is walking on his own.
And it looked like it is both legs that are giving him fits. He was reaching down. I don't know if you could see.
Yeah, he's having a rough time, but he's doing it. So good for him for sure. And we hope the best for Henson. As we go ahead and get back to the ball game here, it looks like. Curious to see what Spring Mills will do without their man. Hopefully he can get back, but we'll see what happens here as he moves around a little better on the sideline. Robinson's going to snap the ball for Albert Gallatin. He's going to roll it to the right side and dish it over to a wide-open man who's going to truck into the end zone.
A lot of things done right by the Colonials on that
And that's
play.
going to be a touchdown for
I think
Albert Gallatin.
Dylan Shea.
Dylan Shea with the wide-open catch, and there's our guy in the ambulance down there flashing the lights from just like last game, so I guess he's back.
Spring Mills 14, Albert Gallatin.
Wow.
Albert Gallatin, that's a heck of a thing to do, Tommy, after that much of a stoppage of play and you get getting out of a rhythm that much after the play was completely blown up in the backfield.
First, it looked like Robinson was going to get rocked for a loss on a sack, and then it looks like we're going to run a swinging gate on the 2-point conversion. But anyway, he rolls out. Looks like he's going to get sacked. Quick release, hits Dylan Shea. Dylan Shea just plows the defender.
Absolutely, and I don't think the innovation's going to work. No, Robinson is held out of the end zone by an interesting play call.
And it looked like all he had to do was just reach.
He was close.
It was close.
He was very close. He was very close, but you get away, you try to fake some people out. I don't hate the decision.
No,
but
not at all.
It does not always pay off, as though it did get very close in that scenario. But Spring Mills is going to hang on now to a tight 1-point lead. It is now 14-13 with 11:29 left in the ball game.
And there's a couple factors going in that call. First off, I mean, it's been a tight game throughout. Both defenses are playing phenomenal. And second, when you're at home, you tend to want to go for the 2-point conversion and that thing. And if you're away, then that's when you try to go for the timing. You have home field advantage. I mean, the crowd's into it. I like trying to go for it, even though it didn't work out.
I could see him trying to go for it as Albert Gallatin kicks off, and that ball is going to roll out of bounds. Yes, roll out of bounds.
And the Cardinals are lucky that didn't take one bounce back the other way, because that could have easily – I mean, that's a live ball. The Colonials could have easily jumped on it.
Yeah, the Cardinals just kind of ignored that ball altogether.
Almost like it was a punt.
It almost was. Now here is the moment of truth. Will Henson enter the ball game for the Cardinals? The offense is out on the field. I can't stand. There he goes. There goes Henson out onto the field.
This is going to be.
This is an interesting call. You always. I mean, the risk of re-injury is always high.
That's what's tough. I mean, you want your best player out there, but is your best player at limited capacity still your best player?
Absolutely.
That's what it all boils down to.
We probably will see a lot more out of the Spring Mills offense as Henson's going to hand the ball off to the left side. He's already hobbling a little bit, didn't even take contact on that play. So this is interesting as Spring Mills does have a nice little gain on first down. They're going to come up with a 2nd and 3 from their own 42-yard line.
8 of 7 on the play. There's a 2nd down and 3.
And you wonder if that limits their playbook by not having a healthy Henson.
I would think so. I would think so. Henson struggling a little bit to even walk around to get the play calls, let alone being able to bite off the big runs that he's had, as he's going to hand the ball off to the left side again. Probably the first 2 consecutive handoffs that we've seen for Spring Mills the entire game.
And it helps when you have a really good offensive line.
It helps when you have a really good offensive line, and 2 plays after that, Henson or not, Spring Mills is going to have a first down from their own 46-yard line.
Tackle man number 24, Christian Stone.
Spring Mills doing a good job at keeping some bodies rotating.
I'll say fresh legs are going in that game.
Absolutely.
It's definitely going to be a difference.
They've been cycling a lot more than any team we have seen as they hang on to their 1-point lead. Henson's going to take the snap, going to hand it off now to the right side. Running behind as kind of a reassurance player is going to be brought down out of bounds. It looked like it was going to be Williams on the run for the Cardinals.
Effort with the tackle. We actually haven't heard his name on offense, which is surprising.
We usually get a little healthy dose of Malik Kirby, Verano, Fabricki, and Effort, who we just mentioned, but I've only heard really Kirby, yeah. We had a little bit of a newer name, Appleton, catching the wide-open touchdown that initially got the Colonials on the board, but other than that, it hasn't been too much, as Henson's going to be blown up in the backfield, and he's got to be careful. He just has to be careful in those scenarios.
Yep, and he's limping a little bit.
Yeah, he has been very ginger. It is, you never want to come out of a ball game, but I don't know how long they could let him in here with the way he's moving around after the play.
And at what point do you go from being an asset to a liability? And it looks
absolutely, and it looks
they're putting him back in, so we'll go with it.
I can see him wanting to stay in the game, but at the same time, this is high school football, and you are a young guy, and a lot of things matter. But
especially like with your even wanting to help your team, if you're not full capacity, you're becoming maybe a problem.
As we see the arm of Henson.
No,
the ball was on the ground, but it was caught by Spring Mills as Henson fired a nice bullet. Only 1 man back compared to Spring Mills' 3 men down the field. It was caught, but the ball could not be held onto, and that is going to stop Spring Mills in their tracks.
It looked like Fabricki was going to come down the interception for a second.
It was close. It was close. So now we have a 4th and 13 after Henson got blown up a couple plays ago in the backfield from Spring Mills' own 43-yard line. Not the scenario they were hoping for, as the ball comes back for the punt, and not the greatest punt.
Good roll,
but a nice bounce. It's going to help Spring Mills pin the Albert Gallatin Colonials back, and Tommy, 8:27.
We maybe watch our last possession.
This could be the last possession, and I'll tell you what about the whole playing catch-up thing. You're still playing catch-up because Spring Mills does control the game with a 14-13 lead with 8:27 left in the 4th quarter, but the Colonials were just down 2 possessions.
Yeah.
And now it's their ball game to take. It's their ball game to take, and it is Spring Mills' ball game to lose. Like we said, these massive long drives and the good defense, this could be the last possession that we see. Robinson's going to snap the ball. He's going to head to the right side. Got some blockers in front of him, and he's taking off down the ball field. There's only 1 man to beat. He's at the 40 of the Albert Gallatin Colonials. 35. He's going to be pushed out of bounds.
And that might be his longest run of the season.
Oh, that has to be.
And go for Colonials.
Wow.
First down.
And I take that back. We may not see a
Yeah,
prolonged
it could
drive.
be. It could be. I mean, it was almost over right there. The one man from Spring Mills did a heck of a job stopping Robinson, but Albert Gallatin goes from their own 22-yard line all the way down to the Spring Mills. I believe we're at the 22-yard line. 1st and 10. Now, I take that back. We are going to be spotted at the 36. So we're flipping the field from the 22-yard line of the Colonials to the 36-yard line of the Cardinals after the Robinson run. See what Albert Gallatin has to do on 1st and 10. 1-point deficit, 8:17 left in the 4th quarter. Robinson's going to hand off to Kirby.
He's met as soon as he gets the ball.
Met very quickly, and that's big for the Cardinals. Albert Gallatin's going to need to bounce back on 2nd down here if they want to have a shot at winning this ball game. After the run by Robinson, it would be a shame for Albert Gallatin to turn the ball over here, but we got a couple more tries here. We got a 2nd and 11 from the Cardinal 37.
And I feel like you have to change it up a little bit just because they're honing in on the inside run by Kirby, and it's just too much.
They definitely seem to be as the game goes on. I feel like the yards are getting less and less from Kirby as we see what looked like another inside handoff. But that was not Kirby on that run.
No.
I believe that was a keeper by Robinson.
I'm saying Kirby was downfield blocking.
Yes, I did see Kirby moving. But now we have a 3rd. We do pick up a couple yards, but because the previous play was into the backfield, we're now only at a 3rd and 9 from the Cardinal 35.
It's almost like each play is taking up, I'm trying to watch the clock, about 30 seconds to 35 seconds. Which
Give or
is,
take. We started this drive about 8.5 minutes before Robinson had the nice run down the field, and we are inside of 7 minutes now left in the ball game. And you have to think, Tommy, if you get held up here on 3rd and 9, Spring Mills, it wouldn't be hard for them to blow 6.5 minutes. You got to think about getting the ball back, and there might not be a ball to get back. As Robinson's going to snap the ball, and it's going to be a nice run from Kirby. He's going to get the 1st down. He's going to keep going. There's 3 men on his back, and he's going to be all the way down to the 10-yard line.
And the number you need to call, 14, he'll get you the 1st down, and that was no mistake there. And he's down all the way to about the, 9-yard line?
9-yard line is where we're going to be at. We're at a 1st and goal after the 3rd and 9 for the Albert Gallatin Colonials. 6:24 and winding in the ball game. Colonials trail by 1 point, 14-13 Cardinal lead. Cardinals have led the whole game aside from one Albert Gallatin tie. But the Colonials have never taken a lead in this game, and let's see if they can do it late. Robinson's going to snap the ball. It's going to be a quick handoff, and boy, the defensive line of the Cardinals were all over that play. The offensive line of the Colonials collapsed on that one very quickly.
But that's okay. If you're the Colonials, you're eating up clock on plays like that.
You definitely got some time to play with here. Going from 3rd and 9 and picking up the 1st down, it's a whole new kind of scenario for you, because now you don't necessarily need to get the ball back. Now you can just focus on scoring again. Because any 3rd down, I don't really care who you are, you're going to think about getting the ball back because you're nervous already.
Yep.
But best case scenario, Albert Gallatin does convert on the 1st down. It's going to be 2nd and 10 from the 10-yard line. Robinson's going to hand off. And once again, this Cardinal defense is really showing up late here. He is held up completely.
And that's just the defense staying at home, keeping on your assignment and not playing. Because I mean, the guy was out there. The guy was out there for the pitch, but everybody stayed home, and the pitch wasn't available because nobody collapsed in right away.
If the man is available for Robinson to get the ball to, but Robinson's already wrapped up, that is just textbook defense. So Albert Gallatin facing another 3rd down, 3rd and goal from the 8-yard line, trying to take the lead for the first time in the ball game. Robinson's going to snap the ball on what's going to be a huge play. He's going to toss to the right side. That's going to be Lang. Lang to the right, Lang down, and he's into the end zone. Wow. Albert Gallatin scores with 4:35 left in the ball game.
And here we go.
And here we go. Albert Gallatin has taken its first lead of the ball game with 4:35 left. What a series of plays.
I'm looking to see if Henson's out on defense. I can't find him on the sideline necessarily.
Yeah, I have not been looking at Henson too much. Like we said, he is more of a offensive kind of juggernaut.
He
I did
is
not see
out
him much
there.
on
Yeah.
defense. Yeah, I do see him now that he's walking up, and that is, maybe needs to get looser, but that's
Yeah.
a bold move. But it's
Yeah, I mean,
It's
it's
their
just
call.
surprising they played him on both sides of the ball. That's why I was curious to see if he was in on that possession, and he was.
Yeah, that's a
so.
good point. I did not think to look at that, but he is walking. Albert Gallatin has called a timeout before either their extra point or conversion attempt.
I like that call.
I do too. But Henson was out there. He is in the huddle for the defense currently as we're, for the first time, looking at a Colonial lead, 19-14 with 4 minutes and 35 seconds left in the ball game.
And this is almost a reverse of what we saw against
University.
Yes.
Yes.
where University was trying to come back, never was able to get the lead, and then all of a sudden, boom, 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 we're here. But the Colonials are able to finally take over and actually gain the lead, unlike what University was able to accomplish.
Absolutely here, Tommy. And no matter what, Spring Mills will need a touchdown. We're just trying to see, will Albert Gallatin try to even it up at 21 since the failed two-point conversion will not give them a score of 21.
And it
if
looks
they
like
kick
there's
the
a
ball.
lot of
Yeah,
Spring
and
Mill players.
There is no kicker on the field for Albert Gallatin as we run to the right side with Lang once again. Lang trying to fight his way to the end zone, and it's no good once again.
And that's another spot to where it looks like from our angle that he's inches away.
Both two-point conversions, they are right on the doorstep.
And they're good play calls. I mean, I like the
it's
play calls.
fantastic
Yeah.
play calls, and this isn't like the NFL where they start on the 20-yard line now or whatever it may be. They're starting from the 2 or 3 yard line. I'm not exactly sure, but that's just fantastic defense. And now Spring Mills can come down and
can't
score
give up
here
a
in
touchdown,
4:35. You give up a touchdown, suddenly Spring Mills is 1 point in the lead, as opposed to tying the ball
without
game.
even needing to make an extra point.
No,
That's the thing.
no.
I mean, so
A touchdown without an extra point or 2 point conversion will automatically give the Cardinals a 1 point lead. So let's see what we can do here. 4:35 left in the fourth quarter. We have seen one heck of a ball game to close out the home season for the Colonials. Colonials trying to look to become 6-1. Cardinals looking to become 5-3 as the ball is muffed on the kickoff.
and I think the Cardinals are going to I don't know, actually.
I'm thinking the Cardinals fell
I
on
thought
that
so, but
ball.
looked
I would
like
think there would be a bigger reaction on the Albert Gallatin sideline.
You would hope.
I would hope. I'll tell you what, Tommy, the one sloppy thing we have seen, and this is from either side, has amount of kicks, punts, whatever it may be, making contact with players and then becoming loose.
Yep. We saw that especially last week, where it was just like, it's almost like the players don't know how to react when a ball's not
It's almost like a
perfectly
deer in the
fielded.
headlights
Yeah.
kind of effect. They just kind of freeze as Spring Mills now has a 1st and 10 from their own 41-yard line. Albert Gallatin looking to hang on to the lead, the first lead of the game for these guys. Henson's going to drop back and throw the ball, and he's going to have two guys wide open, and that's going to be dropped again. His pass is going to be dropped once again.
I'm telling you, this secondary better watch out for the Colonials because they have been picked apart, and they're just lucky.
These receivers for Spring Mills are doing everything to the T except catching the ball.
Yep.
They are flying down the field. They are open. They are led perfectly. And that's two now since we had a couple of issues earlier in the game where Henson wasn't quite putting the ball on target. That's two right in the hand.
2 touchdowns, really.
That's 2 touchdowns. That is just a killer to the Cardinals as we now have a 2nd and 10 from the same spot. It's going to be a quick handoff to the right side. Kind of a Malik Kirby-like plays. We have about every Colonial tackling the ball carrier.
And I think something to keep in mind, too, with you were talking about those pass plays. How big would it be? You're a quarterback, you're banged up. You need those long receptions.
Oh, you can't
get it with your legs. We haven't seen him really run the ball.
You can no longer get it with your legs. You have to air it out, and he is doing a fantastic job transitioning over as we're going to have a timeout called here. The receivers, they just cannot catch those balls that are just laid right in their hands by Henson. So we're going to have a 19-14 Colonial lead, 3:48 left in the ball game. Timeout was called by the Colonials. And after the stoppage after the short run and the drop pass,
it's a 3rd and 8.
It's a 3rd and 8, and Spring Mills is at risk of losing this ball game right here if they can't get a first down. I mean, anything can happen, don't get me wrong, but it won't be hard for the Colonials to run off, what would be probably 3.5 minutes at that point. So let's see what the Cardinals can do.
Especially a run-heavy team.
Colonials and Cardinals each with 2 timeouts left, 4 minutes to go, 3rd and 8 for Spring Mills from their own 43-yard line. Henson's going to drop back. He's going to dump the ball off to the right side, and he's pretty open that time.
What a play call.
Oh, my goodness, and the spin move all the way down to the 30-yard line.
The Colonials were not expecting that whatsoever.
They were not expecting that whatsoever.
Especially, you could see they were scared to give up that big home run ball,
absolutely.
So they dropped back heavy. And
I'll tell you what, Tommy, the pass from Henson, I saw him look over, and I saw the Cardinals receiver, Jacob McCarron, ready to catch that ball, and I thought, oh, no, there is nobody on him on the right side.
Yeah, well-executed play call.
Well executed is Spring Mills. Henson's going to run it himself down the right sideline, and he hasn't been brought down. He is now out of bounds, and the Cardinals are making this a ball game once again, trying to get back into the driver's seat here.
And carrying the ball number 7.
And we do have an injured Colonial now.
Cardinal first down. We have an injured player in the field.
Little awkward kind of
it looks
roll
like his left
over there.
arm.
Yeah, they kind of rolled over each other as Henson was brought down out of bounds. Didn't quite get a number on that one, but.
And oftentimes when you see that motion of the arm coming to the body, it's either arm or even shoulder. So that we're going to be watching
anything,
that.
Yeah, anything is at risk in that scenario. So we now have an injured Colonial. We will wait to see who it is specifically and make sure that he is up and off the field.
But as we wait for that, just to comment on what we've seen in the past minute, wow.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I'll tell you, it is crazy for the Albert Gallatin defense to be giving up these huge plays to Spring Mills. You just get your first lead of the ball game. You've been playing outstanding this whole time, and don't get me wrong, you can't lay it all on the defense, but the Colonial offense now finally has woken up, and the defense has been caught sleeping a little bit.
Yeah, and I think it's something to keep in mind, though, especially talking about this Colonial defense. They haven't given up the score yet. As well as the Cardinals have been able to gain these yards, the Colonials are stingy on defense when they're within the red zone, and I can't see this being I can't see the Cardinals walking in.
No, I can't see either, and like we said, the Cardinals have had their fair share of issues when they're this close to the end zone. The play will stand, and it's going to be a 1st and goal from the 7. But can we see one of those signature Albert Gallatin stops that we have seen all season as the injured Colonial is up on his feet? Thomas is going to be the injured Colonial, but like we said, we always like to see players get up on their feet. He's going to have a little bit of assistance. Coach Dindal over there helping him off the field, as well as a couple of trainers. Definitely going to get attended to on the sideline. We hope he's all good.
And that's going to be a big loss for Colonials, too, because he's a front 4 guy, and this offensive line for the Cardinals, they're no pushover.
Not a chance. He's actually going to go ahead and jog off the field himself, so that's always what we like to see. Albert Gallatin's, this is going to be a big test. It's been big tests either side for a good 10 minutes now. Spring Mills is going to be on the Albert Gallatin 7-yard line, 1st and goal. They're going to pack them heavy up front. It's going to be a run by Henson, and he's going to wiggle down to very close to the goal line, probably about the 2-yard line.
About 2, I was going to say, but another great run, and he's holding up. It's surprising.
He really is. That's great
taking
for him.
Taking a beating, yeah.
That is great for him. We've seen him to the point where he's come out of the game, and we always like to see guys get back in and especially be as successful as he is. So he is really, really setting the bar here.
And he's been in for not only every offensive play, but if I had to guess, I'd say almost every defensive play as well. So,
he's
had a long game.
Yeah, he is absolutely. But you have to think this late in the season, there's only – I know that Albert Gallatin only has 1 game left as Henson stopped at, once again, the 2-yard line. You have to think he's probably pretty conditioned for this as the clock continues to wind. 2:30 left in the ball game. 3rd and 3 now for the Spring Mills Cardinals.
And the clock is ticking.
The clock is ticking. Albert Gallatin hangs on to a 5-point lead. It could be erased with one lack in defense. Here we go from the 3-yard line, 3rd down. 2 minutes and winding left. Henson takes a direct standoff. He's going to run to the right side, and he's going to be in. There is a flag on the play. As of right now, Henson is in the end zone for his 3rd rushing touchdown of the game.
And if this gets called back, this is tough for the Cardinals.
This is big moves.
And it looks like it is going to be against the Cardinals.
It is against the Cardinals. The touchdown is negated. And we are on the Spring Hill side of the field, and you can just hear the Albert Gallatin sideline going wild right now as the Colonials will get a little bit more green behind them. And the Cardinals will set up once again for a 3rd down.
It's going to be 3rd and goal.
It's going to be 3rd and goal from now the 13-yard line with the penalty, and Spring Mills is probably going to take a smart timeout here.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to call the right play here because
minute 55, all you have to do is get into that end zone, which you just did, but once again, a flag has negated a Spring Mills drive. We will see what the Cardinals dial up here. Minute 55 to go. This has been by far the best game we've been able to watch together, Tommy, I'd
for
say.
sure, yeah, and something to keep in mind, this game is not going to be over until I see all zeros up there.
Oh,
I mean, it's just both offenses have the ability to score.
Yes. We've been around to one too many to call a game yet.
So even if the Cardinals are able to get in, don't be surprised if the Colonials put up a good drive to try to get back in it.
Yeah, I would not doubt it, especially after seeing what Robinson could do on that last scoring drive for Albert Gallatin, which finally gave him the lead. And something else to brush on that just kind of popped into my head. Henson ran the ball in for Spring Mills on what would have been a leading touchdown. However, it did get wiped off the board. Spring Mills only has 3 touchdowns, and the quarterback has ran for all 3 of them. Not that they only have 2 that have counted.
Yeah, but 3 without penalty.
Right. 3rd and 13 from the Albert Gallatin 13-yard line. Biggest play of the game up to this point. Spring Mills has the ball looking to get in the end zone after the flag wiped their last touchdown off of the field. Henson running up the right side of the field, and he's going to be brought down.
Wow, we're going to have about 4 yards to go.
He is going to be brought down. What a heck of a gain, but Henson is brought down once again. The Albert Gallatin defense has put up one heck of a fight.
And we have all 4s across the bottom.
We have all 4s across the bottom with a minute 30 to go. Henson gets the call.
This is the game. 4th
down from the 4th-yard line. This is most likely the game. Albert Gallatin holds on to a 5-point lead, 19-14, minute 17 and winding. 4th and goal from the 4-yard line. And Spring Mills is going to take a timeout just to make us all wait a little bit longer.
Wow, this is the best part of this game
this
by
is
far.
Incredible.
I mean, you can't. Best part of the season.
Minute 10 left in the game.
This is an incredible game with a minute 10 left in the ball game. I couldn't even stay in my seat, Tommy. I've been standing since about the beginning of the second half. This has just been a great half of football. Even if the first half wasn't even that good, the second half has been that much better. We wait out the last Spring Mills timeout here, and we see what happens. 19-14 Albert Gallatin lead. First lead of the ball game came with about 6 minutes left. Maybe not even that. I think it was about 4 minutes left, 4.5 left in the 4th quarter.
And a statistic I'd like to know, and we will never know just because it's not kept by high school level, how many plays were ran in the red zone by the Cardinals tonight?
Quite a few.
Because it has to be up there because it's just like it seems like they're always down within 20 yards and they just keep running plays, and we're going to see if they can get it done here.
Like we said, Tommy, 4s across the board as the Cardinals come back onto the field. 4th and goal from the 4th-yard line. Albert Gallatin hanging on to a 5-point lead.
You can hear timeout.
And we have a timeout by the Colonials.
And just to touch on this, you could hear the home field advantage.
Oh, you can absolutely hear. We do line up on the Spring Mills side of the field a little light this evening. I believe it was, I tried to look it up, it was roughly I think 130-mile drive or so.
Wow.
Yeah, a bit farther than Hampshire was last week, but nonetheless, some good support by Spring Mills over here, absolutely, for the distance. Good support, but home field advantage. I can hear them through the headphones on the other side of the field. Albert Gallatin, after their timeout, already lining back up onto the field. Didn't even need the full duration. Student section getting loud again. The band joining them.
And the Colonials doing what they always do. Be ready, get there early, and get the crowd involved. And here we go.
For the third time now, 4s across the board. 4th and goal from the 4-yard line. Henson's going to take the Cardinal offense, ready for the snap, most likely the ball game. Henson snaps the ball. He's going to drop back. He's going to pass. Wide open man in the end zone, and it's caught by Spring Mills. Wide open in the end zone. Spring Mills has the touchdown.
26, Jacob Barrick.
A minute 6 left in the ball game.
And that is not how I thought they were going to beat the Colonials.
That is not what you expected, and I think that was the point. Spring Mills has a 1-point advantage, 20-19, with a minute 6 left after the wide open catch in the touchdown. And I'll tell you,
I don't know how that happened because there were Colonials back in coverage. That's what's kind of confusing.
There was Colonials back in coverage, but that coverage was absolutely blown.
Yep.
And you would think after seeing Henson run, and that's exactly what they do to get in the heads. He's going to throw a pass, and
if there was a better time for his wide receiver to show up, there it was.
It was that time. Minute 6 left in the ball game. Henson's going to score on the 2-point conversion.
So now I just want to frame this as I did our last home game last season. A field goal would tie this. And AG does have a kicker. We've seen him make extra points very well. And it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. So
it is not.
Keep that in mind that field goal range may be an option.
It could be an option here with a minute 6 left. Albert Gallatin's going to get ready to receive the ball. They now trail the Spring Mills Cardinals by 3 points.
1 timeout left for the Colonials.
1 timeout for the Colonials, 0 for the Cardinals.
And if you needed a big kickoff return, this was the point. This is the moment.
We will see what happens. The crowd's still behind the Colonials, though they gave up the touchdown late. They only received 1 lead in the game, and it was late in the 4th quarter. They have now switched the lead back to the Cardinals, and we'll see if they can steal it back with just a little over a minute left in the game.
This is a good game.
This is great. One side or the other, this has been a fun game to watch.
And the Cardinals are no strangers to interesting kickoff tactics. So we'll also see how that plays out.
We'll see. Yeah, this could pin the Colonials. I mean, one side or the other. This could either guarantee a Cardinal win, or this could give the Colonials some good field position. So we'll see what happens. The Spring Mills is about to kick the ball off, and that's not a very heavy run up, but it is into the second line of the Colonials. Ball's going to be taken on the right side, or on the left side of the field, excuse me, is going to be dropped on the Albert Gallatin 45-yard line. So the Colonials looking at a 55-yard drive with a minute 2 left.
That's good field position. You didn't burn a lot of clock. So, I mean, I'll take it if you're the return unit. Yeah,
cleanly fielded.
Yeah, I mean, because that was a big issue.
Fielded.
Especially when you get in that second line, you never know, who's a ball handler and who's a fall on the ball person. So.
Absolutely. I mean, it's pretty gutsy for anybody that's not a return man to just square up and field a ball like that. But let's see if the Colonials can work some magic here. Minute 2 left. They're down 3, 22-19. Spring Hill's lead. Robinson's going to drop back. He falls on the ground.
Yeah.
That is a killer. That is an absolute dagger.
And Colonials are going to have to use a timeout.
And that's going to be the final timeout. That was not.
No, but I'll be honest, I think he was going to go down anyway.
I think he was. The Spring Mills rush was fantastic in that play, but Robinson falls on his own, and that is an absolute killer at this point in the ball game. It is not over, though, but that does not help matters on a first down. 2nd and 17 now from the Albert Gallatin 38. 55 seconds left. Albert Gallatin trying to take back.
But I will say that's not a death sentence by any stretch. I mean,
That is
your
not a
offense
death
is so
sentence.
explosive
That is not a
that you
death
have to keep your
sentence.
head in the game that we're not out of this yet. We can at least run 2 more plays.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, 55 seconds. So Albert Gallatin no longer has timeouts. There are no timeouts left in the ball game.
And if the chains move, the clock stops, correct?
I believe so.
Yep.
I believe so,
I mean,
at least briefly. If
that's
you can
another
hurry up,
thing you have to keep
you can
in
spike
mind.
the ball as well. So let's see if Albert Gallatin can counter this. We have coaches from Spring Mills in the middle of the field. They have all backed out, though. Albert Gallatin's going to go ahead and drop back. Robinson's going to look for somebody. He's going to be hurried. He's going to run to the right side. He's going to launch the ball down the field. He has a wide open man. And it's incomplete.
In and out of the hands of Fabricki.
In and out of the hands of Fabricki. Fabricki had that ball. He just could not come down with it.
Third down, 17.
3rd and 17 now. 46 seconds to go.
And Robinson did a great job of
That was a fantastic scramble.
avoiding another
That
loss.
was a fantastic scramble and a fantastic pass, just not a fantastic catch.
Yep.
3rd and 17 from the Albert Gallatin 38-yard line. 22-19 Spring Mill Cardinals lead. Albert Gallatin got their first lead and hung on to it until about 1:10 left in the ball game, where Henson from Spring Mills was able to fire a bullet into the end zone.
It looks like there's going to be a mismatch with receivers.
Robinson's going to roll out to the right side. He's going to fire a bullet across the field.
Get out of bounds.
And it's going to be caught, but he's going to be short. He's going to be short. That clock is going to continue to run, and nobody seems to be hurrying. You cannot spike it. It is 4th down. Albert Gallatin, it's about a 4th and 2. Albert Gallatin's going to run up to the line of scrimmage. Robinson's going to snap the ball. He snapped the ball. Oh, my goodness. He snapped the ball. Robinson spikes the ball on 4th down. Robinson spikes the ball on 4th down, turns the ball over.
Wow.
And Spring Mills begins to celebrate.
This up. Wow.
That
I can't
is
believe
insane. Just the biggest miscue you will ever see.
Wow. And
Robinson
that's just not awareness.
On 4th down.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, that's a tough one to swallow.
Biggest miscue you will see. Robinson
just
spikes the ball on
and
4th
that's a
down.
heartbreaker.
After the excellent play to actually get Albert Gallatin a little bit better field position.
I was going to say, you have to think, Robbie, if the clock stops with a 1st down, a quarterback sneak would have done the job there.
Oh,
it was
absolutely. A quarterback
inches,
sneak does the job. It was maybe 2 yards at the most. You fall forward and just reset quickly, and there you go. If Spring Mills is going to need, run the clock out. There were about 20 seconds to go, and that's it.
That's our game, and that's tough. That's tough, but regardless, it was a great game.
Fantastic game by both sides, but that is an unfortunate ending to a great ball game by both sides. Wow,
yeah.
One
that's all I'm
heck
going to
of
say.
a game to watch, but when it comes down to it, they both fought. I think the better team did win in this game, at least this evening, and Spring Mills is going to bounce back after a tough loss last week. They're going to beat the Albert Gallatin Colonials. 22-19 is your final score. And I think we can go ahead and call it here. Tommy, it's been good. It's the last home game of the season.
Thank you for a great year.
Oh, I thank you, too.
Thanks to everybody who helps out with the production.
Yes, it's been a great one. And, like we said, it's been a fun one to watch. Finally secured a winning season despite the loss tonight. But with that being said, like we just announced, the final score is the Spring Mills Cardinals 22, the Albert Gallatin Colonials 19, first loss at home. We want to go ahead and thank you for watching the AGTV Sports Network on Channel 77 Fayette TV.